What's going on, guys? Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode here at Theory. If last episode was a huge milestone, today's going to be even bigger. Car's going to be a roller again officially as of today. We got the rear end right here on the table. Everything's set up there. New gasket from Lube Locker. That way we don't have to run any RTV on that stuff. Not only that, when we got here to go ahead and film, got a box from Strange. So, new rear brakes ended up coming in. So, nice rear brackets. And all the extra stuff they include for you, like these super nice studs that are going to be easy to work with on the moser ends. 4 piston calipers to go ahead and match up with the fronts. Not only that, but we've been making some upgrades here at the shop, including some new LED lighting to get rid of that buzzing. We're also working on the audio. That way, just the overall quality of our videos are getting better. We're going to go ahead and start working on the rear end and get the third member installed. All right, first thing I'm actually have to do is install Napa's finest SKF 15142 seals into the end of the housings. Our bearings are not O-ringed, so we do need an inner axle seal still. These things are super cheap, probably about 12 bucks each. Lightly lube the edge. Seated all the way. All right, we already got the first one knocked in. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the second one. Not necessarily the correct tool, but a 1 7/8 socket. Looks to be the chomp for this one. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get ready to install the third member. I went ahead and sanded down any high areas I found on the housing itself. And typically what a lot of people use is RTV. Personally, I know RTV seal is great. I'm not a fan. We went ahead and got a reusable gasket from Lube Locker. So this thing will actually crush down to a different thickness when we go ahead and torque everything down. All right, you're gonna hear us talking a lot about the third member here. What makes the Ford 9-inch different from other rear ends is gonna go ahead and be that it doesn't actually have a diff cover in the rear. The whole carrier assembly slides in from the front using all these bolts, and the axles slide in afterwards. So in order to access the gears and remove the third member, obviously axles need to be removed first. But we got the new gasket laid down. We're gonna go ahead and install the new assembly. Now, if you watched our last video when you saw when we pulled this thing apart, this thing was pretty grimy, all nasty, but nothing a little brake clean and a wired wheel can't clean up. This thing looks brand new. You got a fresh coat of paint on the pinion. This thing's ready to drop in. All right, we got the third member seated down all the way. Have all our hardware ready to go on. Don't know the particular torque spec on this, so I'm probably gonna go with the good old-fashioned German one, good and tight. And gonna work these down, make sure everything gets seated all the way. Followed by the third member, we're going to go ahead and install the Moser 40 spline axles. Gotta be careful with the axle seal we just put in here. It's an extremely tight fit. Insert it into the diff perfectly. Gonna go ahead and move on to the other one. All right, now we got to go ahead and install the next axle. Again, being extremely careful with that axle seal. All right, now we just need to go ahead and hit it again. Make sure the bearing seats all the way. Nice and flush. All right, now we actually had to go ahead and start digging around in our new strange brake kit that we got. This actually uses a plate in the back to retain the axle bearing. What's nice about these is you don't have to pull the axles in order to remove them. They simply slide in between and go on the studs. An extremely nice touch that Strange did is these studs aren't shaped with a normal circular head on them. They're actually tapered in a specific shape for these housing ends. They sit dead flat and go in incredibly easy. This goes to show that Strange is more than just a car part company. They're an engineering company, and it's the little things like this that are really important. All right, we already knocked out the first side. We're gonna go ahead and install the second side right now. All right, next up we actually have our torque arm bracket. I already went ahead and threw the heims in. Line this up real quick. Love a dead blow hammer. All right, now that we wrapped up the brackets for the Strange brakes, we actually received our AFCOs late last week. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these on now. We had to rob some hardware off of the QA ones that were on it previously. And again, these are double adjustable, so we have compression and extension settings. And after we swap the hardware, it's a nice simple install here. Once I get the other one on, we'll go ahead and flip it forward and hit it with the impact real quick. All right, so in the last clip you saw us going ahead and bolting down the AFCOs. We're quickly learning along this whole process that nothing's ever as smooth as it seems. Certain parts don't fit like we want. They're not up to our standards. And one of those things is gonna be the shock mounts. We ended up taking the old shock mounts off our QA1s, but we have a lot of play on the bottom mount. Went ahead and ordered a transverse mount kit from Midwest Chassis. Should be here in a couple days, something like that. I know we really wanted to see the roller going today, but I'd much rather work on this thing. It's on the ground and a lot easier to work on. Another thing we're running into is the brakes not fitting correctly. Now, it's not a problem of the brakes, it's actually the brake offset. So this bearing is supposed to protrude this amount. When we knock in the bearings all the way, as you can tell, they're pretty much flush with the housing. Now, the problem with that is we're supposed to have a brake offset of roughly 2.832. When the bearing's seated all the way down, we're only getting about 2.62. So we're about 0.2 of an inch off there. SJM Manufacturing makes a bearing spacer, and we went ahead and ordered that. Again, should be here in a couple days, and I'd much rather do that on the ground while we can, especially considering that I don't want to fight with the wall when it comes to trying to pull an axle out of the rear end. So we're gonna go ahead and close it off here. Like, comment, subscribe. We should have another episode up, putting the rear end, making this thing a roller.